risen Lord, we are here. We are hungry for you, hungry for hope, hungry for meaning. Surprise us with joy, touch us with grace, claim us for larger lives. Amen. It's likely the most well-known, perhaps even the most worn out of all of Jesus' parables, the Good Samaritan. You could tell it by heart, I'm sure, this morning. Sort of a shorthand. We know exactly when we hear the Good Samaritan and what that parable is all about. But I find it the most challenging parable of all. It is one that I struggle with every day here in my life on Wilshire Boulevard. It is the parable that leaves me feeling guilty and a little weary. Not only every time I read it, but every time I drive the Ohio underpass or step over a person sleeping on the sidewalk, our sidewalk right here, which is quite often. This parable sits on my shoulder, shaking its accusing finger. The story begins with a scripture-quoting scholar who knew the law backwards and forwards. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and with all your mind and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. If only the really smart one had left well enough alone. Instead, getting technical, hoping to shrink the size of his neighbor pool, the legal scholar asks Jesus, and just who is my neighbor? But instead of blessing the lawyer's hopes of limiting the size of his neighborhood, Jesus tells a story about a gang, a victim lying in a ditch, a can't-be-bothered elder, an overscheduled pastor, and a greatly despised outsider. And we have struggled with how to live this parable ever since. Or perhaps that's just me. The moral of the story seems quite clear. Jesus saying neighborliness is something that you do. It is not something that you simply talk about. As well, our neighbors are the people next to us in the pew, and they are far away from us in Nicaragua. In fact, they are everywhere we know and anyone in need. The neighborhood is very, very large. We do our best to be neighborly here at Westwood Presbyterian Church. We carry manna bags in our cars to help neighbors on the streets. Our neighbor circle includes the neglected and abused children we support through child share, the homeless vets we feed through PATH, the hungry we feed when we sort food at the Los Angeles Food Bank and write our checks in support of Westside Food Bank. And the list goes on and on. And this is no chore. These are our neighbors. It is our privilege to make a difference in the lives of so many by what we do together. With this story, Jesus is asking his audience, and by extension is asking us, to rethink our neighborhoods. In the story, we have a Jewish man in a ditch, a Jewish priest, and a Jewish priestly assistant. If anyone should have rushed to the victim's aid, it should have been someone of his own kind. Some sort of tribal or religious affinity should have kicked right on in. But that is not the way Jesus tells the story. It is a despised enemy, a Samaritan, one who should have been the villain in the story that goes out of his way to be a neighbor. A Samaritan who, looking at a suffering person, saw and simply found another human being made in the image of God, who then responded with compassion. If you follow this parable to its logical extension, this morality tale, Jesus has upended every tribal, nationalistic, religious, gender, ethnic, sexual orientation, socioeconomic, class distinction wall we have ever built. Jesus redefines neighborhood once and for all. We are in this together, this neighborhood, this life on this planet. It is boundaryless. It includes not only the people we like, but the people we are fond of hating. It includes not only the people like us, but the people so different from us that they frighten us. Not only the people we want to be with, but those we don't want to have anything to do with. Neighborliness is a way of seeing and being in the world that affirms the dignity and worth of all, that respects and cares for every last person, without exception. Mother Teresa was thinking of the neighborhood when she said that we need to remember that we belong to each other. Trappist monk Thomas Merton had an epiphany one ordinary day while out doing errands for his monastery in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. He wrote, "In Louisville, at the corner of 4th and Walnut, in the center of the busy shopping district, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all those people, that they were mine and I was theirs, that we could not be alien to one another even though we were total strangers. It was like waking from a dream of separateness. It was as if I suddenly saw the secret beauty of their hearts, the depths of their hearts, the core of their reality, the person each one is in God's eyes. If only they could all see themselves as they really are. If we could see each other that way all the time." Neighborliness. Father Gregory Boyle, founder and executive director of Homegirl Industries, speaks of the God-ordained neighborhood as kinship. Homeboy Industries is the world's largest gang intervention and re-entry program right here in Los Angeles, with whom we are moving toward partnership. 85% of the 1,000 people that enter Homeboy's doors each month are on probation or parole. And Boyle has spent the last 3 decades treating Los Angeles' most violent and notorious gang members as beloved human beings made in the image of God. He speaks of the power of kinship, which he defines as being one with one another, with no daylight to separate us. He tells the story of homies Julian and Mateo. Both had grown up in youth authority facilities in juvie. Boyle took them along on a speaking engagement to Helena, Montana. A bit of a culture shock for them, no doubt. Boyle writes, "Before our talk at the university, we are interviewed by the local paper and pictures are taken. Julian and Mateo speak movingly after my speech and receive a standing ovation. The packed crowd has so much honor and reverence for what these 2 abandoned kids have had to carry all their young lives." The following day, we begin our return home to LA. That morning, on the front page of the Helena newspaper is a photograph in color of the 3 of us, 4 columns wide, wearing our homeboy beanies and jackets. "Gang members visit Helena with a message of hope," was the paper's headline. The homies can't believe it. People in the hotel, at a restaurant, in the airport, greet Mateo and Julian as celebrities. People are stopping them, shaking their hands, congratulating them. TSA agents stop what they are doing and come around to salute them. Flight attendants make a big deal about the celebrities on board as we settle into our seats. Mateo and Julian are seated together. I'm across the aisle. Midway home, I look over, and I see Julian in the window seat, knocked out, asleep, with his head leaning on Mateo's shoulder. Mateo is crying. What's wrong, Neil? He has the Montana newspaper resting on his lap. I just read this article again. He can't speak for a second and silently puts his hand over his heart. I don't know what he says. It really gets to me. Makes me feel like I am somebody. He cries all the more. I lean across and whisper, "Well, Mateo, that is because you are somebody." Boyle concludes, "No daylights to separate us." What gets to Mateo in the end is the truth of how closely together we are bound, dissolving the myth that we are separate in all. G.K. Chesterton reflects on neighborhood in the quote on the front of today's bulletin. He writes, "We are all in the same boat on a stormy sea, and we owe each other a terrible loyalty." On this Mission Sunday, I want to thank our Mission and Outreach Committee for assigning this parable with its probing question for our reflection. And I'm grateful for Jerry Condon's amazing photography encircling our sanctuary today. Jerry has transported us to neighborhoods we do not often frequent. A visual reminder that there is no daylight between us. In Mother Teresa's words, we belong to each other. In Chesterton's words, we owe each other terrible loyalty. The question is ours. And who is my neighbor? For God and for God followers, the planet is one neighborhood. It's many people, friends, homeboys and homegirls, each person created in God's image, with divine DNA, each one a somebody, each beloved, everyone a neighbor. No daylight between us. We are kin. We are neighbors. We are one. Let us pray. Oh God, God of every person, free us from our artificial tribal affinities that exclude and diminish. Undo our fear of the different. Wake us from our imagined separateness that pits us against rather than for one another. Open our hearts to see the beauty in all hearts, to see the beauty that you see, to honor and reverence the divine DNA in everyone, to love as Jesus loves us. We pray in Jesus, who has shown us the way.